Hello everybody, hope you're doing marvellously well. If you recall a whopping 3 days ago, at least 3 days for us in real time, we were at NAMM talking about a brand new plugin, Fuel, with the fine fellows at Musikhack. How the devil are you?
I'm doing great. I'm happy you're here. I'm getting to do this, so it's cool.
Well, we said we were going to do a review, and why not do the review with you? Because then I can ask what all the dumb things I don't know are. I remember looking at it at NAMM and putting on headphones, hearing the soft clip. Of course, what I love about all plugins of this ilk is the ability to have a dry-wet control, meaning you can destroy it and then bring that back in, so it's an energy behind the track. Always a great thing. Reminds me of my old friend Dave Jordan when he said when he was mixing, he always wanted to make it feel like it was a coiled spring and like just being pushed down, so it was jumping out of the speakers.
Cool, that's a great metaphor.
Yeah, it's great, and I think that this, for what I heard when we were at the show, can do that. But treat me like an idiot, because I am.
Fuel's basically, it's all about instant energy. It's sort of like our energy channel strip. Sure. Right, so it can go on anything, but we designed all these things to be things that you use when you need energy. So we've got a compressor or OTT, that's on a switch, so you can pick depending on the kind of...
Compressor OTT meaning over the top, just like absolute annihilation.
Yeah, it's
like the nuclear button.
Exactly, yeah, it's most famous for smashing those like synth pads and things like that, but it has a surprising number of applications when you put it at like 25%. Body is upwards compression, which
nice.
That's a hard one to tame, so we made it easy to tame. So it's like an easy way to use. It's now can be in your toolkit. Bass enhancer, a thickness knob, which is really just an overall sound. It uplifts and pulls out the sound and makes it just take up more space.
Is there any specific frequencies it's targeting more than others?
In the beginning, there is a little bit of EQ that goes into it, but then it starts pushing some saturation into the mid-range as you turn up the dial, right? So it kind of has a different set of tones as you move through it. Okay. And we have a soft clipper to get that kind of round, clipping tone, and crunch, which is much more just like, it can go from subtle fuzz to like analog obliteration. All of that goes through the dry-wet mixer. You set up your tone the way you want it, and then you can push it through the limiter at the end. And the limiter is the same limiter as in Master Plan. It's really clear.
Which is what?
So you can drive super hard into this thing. So all these controls can be pushed harder than they might in another case because you're going through the limiter.
Now at the top here, we've got a bypass control, obviously. Yep. Unity, now is this for the gain?
Yeah, Unity gain compensation, but because this is a saturating plugin, there's not a mathematical way to know, the total amount is this out. So this Unity does more calculations. And so it trails the whole thing a little bit, but then it gives you an accurate number.
No, I've had that conversation so many times with people. They're like going, it's louder, it's quieter. I'm like, what's louder or quieter? The transient, the overall average volume, what are you hearing? Yeah. So yeah, one person's, gain matches, another person's completely wrong.
Yeah, exactly. So we're doing this off of an RMS, and it's just tracking in and out, and then it just matches it. Live mode is we developed a special low latency mode for the limiter so that we could get it sub 10 milliseconds. So for most people's block sizes, you can play live and feel pretty good about it. Okay. I think we're at like 6 to 8 milliseconds. So that works for vocals and keys. And we really thought that there's some good applications for this live, so we wanted that to happen.
Great.
And then oversampling is just a one-stop shop for it. You get 4 times oversampling, and we'll pick the filters and everything based on the other settings to just do the best job for what it is you're trying to do. Right.
Now, the live mode makes perfect sense. I have a lot of friends that are good old-fashioned analog keyboard players, have whirlies and whatever. They go out on the road and they'll take a laptop and a controller. That's what happens. And then, yes, good old oversample you were just touching on there.
Yeah.
Our favorite subject.
I would recommend people just try without oversample first and only turn it on and if you feel like there's something you want to get out of it, it might be, but it might not. You can save that CPU. So
absolutely. And then what sort of presets have you got in here? They're just sort of like generic kind of trash it.
Yeah, kind of. We chose creative preset names for this one, so they're not as much telling you what they do, but Smash Burger, or I love this one. We had
Dump Truck for drums.
Dump Truck for drums. Yeah, exactly. We categorized them. One of my favorite names is That's So 60s or 70s, because the guy that made the presets is pretty young, so probably wasn't distinguishing between the sound types of either, which is this makes it sound vintage. Yeah. That's shout out to Nahum on that, but I love that name. I've got a bunch of just stock Apple loops, because I feel like if you can make an Apple loop, if you control something that's like just like that, it means that a plugin is able to do its job, right?
Sure, I'm down here.
Sound interesting. I just have a basic beat, like electronic beat here, and I want to play with our compressor real quick. To show it's really clean and it's really quick and it's kind of like a workhorse compressor. Sort of takes the role of what a CL1B would do.
Does it, as you increase the strength of it, are you adjusting also the attack and release times? Are the release times getting faster the more you compress it?
The attack and release times are both set to be very, very, very fast.
Okay.
And it's not a typical compressor. It's a compressor that's built off our limiting technology.
Sure.
And so it doesn't behave in the way that a normal ballistic section would in a compressor, which is why it's clean the way that it is. It does adjust, but it's adjusting constantly based on the actual input material rather than the setting.
Okay, so it has an auto function.
Yeah, it's kind of got auto fast.
Not a fixed. But so it is actually adjusting as you push it. Great.
All right, cool. So if we play this beat, we can hear that the the snaps and things, they're sticking out a lot from the rest of it, and the bass line of the sound is sort of quiet. And as we turn this knob up, the whole body of the sound changes, but it doesn't really feel like it's done a whole bunch of the sound. So it's just really clean. You just turn the knob until you feel like you hear the background too much, maybe here, and then you can turn it back. And now you have a loop that you have much more control over to stick into a mix, right?
I want to hear the body come in.
All right, cool. Now we've raised the whole volume of the sound without hitting the top.
I love the hat now.
Yeah. And if you want parallel compression, it's as simple as now you just go to the dry wet mix and boom, now you have parallel compression, it's done.
Right.
So pretty quick. Right on. And then if you just want to go crazy, we have this OTT. You just flip it on instead of a compressor, and then you can smash into it and have this completely different sound.
It's great.
Which sounds pretty cool with dry wet as well. And now you have that pressure.
I think I'd leave it on 100%.
Yeah. But it also works at kind of low volumes to just kind of tame the overall response and put it in a kind of broad range instead of narrow. Yeah. But we're trying to get it in as few motions as possible that you can do by the feel rather than having to like tweak every signal.
I like the OTT though, because it reminds, in my mind with the more guitar-based stuff, I like the fact that it's pumping and it's noisy and everything.
Yeah.
Because then it feels like, that could be like, some old analog, early digital kind of drum machine.
So there we go. Yeah, we can throw it in through a guitar sample here. Yeah, get back to it. We can go back to the drums. I just thought since you said guitar.
No.
And we don't even have Unity on. We just do a pretty good job of leveling the track so that you're mostly changing the timbre by moving that thing.
Those subtle harmonics are like very musical up there.
Yeah, you hear all these excitations. Yeah, it's super cool.
I wonder if we go back to the compressor, bring that in, then add the body. See, that's nice. It stays clean, but all the harmonics are coming up. That's awesome.
Yeah, and it just makes all your stuff just becomes more manageable when you have that dynamic control. And we're trying not to remove. I mean, this thing looks like it just imparts insane amounts of character to everything, but you don't have to. You can use it in this really workflow-like way. It's super efficient.
Well, it does say crystal clear, stupid, loud, limited.
Yeah. That's been our tagline for master plans.
I love it.
If you hover over this, now that we've evened it out. Oh, we pushed it a little too far there, but I mean, you can get a loudness off of that sound.
Yeah, it's insane. Oh yeah, you can get it loud and proud.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. What should we jump to? I'm like trying to think what kind of sample I want to jump to again. Maybe I'm going to go to the drums just to...
Sure.
What is this, Brazilian drum sample? Again, with the compression. You can bring up the room sounds or take it back.
Yeah, I love that. Maybe bring up the rooms in this mode.
That kick is pretty massive bloom.
Yeah,
not even the same.
It went from what's sounding like maybe an 18-inch floor tom turned into a kick drum to a 26.
Yeah, and then if you want to blow it out a little bit, Oh, there you go. Yeah, thick just.
Yeah, let's try a little bit of the...
Yeah, get it to crumble.
Let's go nuts. Great.
Yeah, we're pushing this thing up after doing all that processing, and there's 6 dB.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Hold on, I got to do this one more time again. I mean,
Da, 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 ba, 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 da, da.
yeah, she's not from Ipanema anymore.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Just from Ipswich.
yeah. I don't even know.
That's for the English people.
Let me pull everyone's favorite
Sure.
808. I'm gonna hop to the other side of the interface onto the soft clip. And we're gonna move to the granite real quick. So another thing we wanted to do with Fuels, we wanna make it real easy to get tone on the bass. That's the kind of tone that people are looking for. And this you can find right here in this section. So it's as simple as.
Oh yeah, like already the doo 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 was really coming out, poking its head out.
And then we can push the bass a bit. And you've immediately turned like whole different sound.
A whole different sound, and you've evened it out as well, where you had notes that were disappearing. Now it's,
Yeah,
you know.
I mean, we haven't even done compression on it, you know? It's like, yeah, everything just at your fingertips.
No, this is very much like what we've been preaching. We're hoping that people look this way. They look to give tools that, you know, like this could be, you know, that you could have a compressor and have a photo of an old vintage compressor.
Right.
And then you could have my point is like, I think if you're starting off these days, why do you need to know all of these different pieces of gear? It's fun for a guy like me. I love the romance of it, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
And I love walking in and seeing 1176s and 1073s and all the things that we love that you have here and Poltex and stuff. But at the same time, if you're a kid, you're 13, 14, and you're getting your first DAW and you're downloading your first plugins, you just want the sounds that they bring rather than the learning curve. And also I get a little bit frustrated looking at, you know, the rusty screws and all this. It's fun,
Right.
but it's not really adding anything to the sound. Well, not really. It's not adding anything to the sound,
Yeah, exactly.
just to make it look like it's, you know, was built in 1972.
Yeah, and what does that mean to someone who's just approaching audio today? It might not.
It
mean the
feels
same
like a
thing,
barrier
you know?
to entry that we shouldn't have. That to surmise exactly what I'm trying to say is I don't need that barrier to entry. We as people in the music industry need kids to come in and make music.
I
No
completely
wagging
agree.
fingers, no like you should know this, know that. Because, you know, when those guys were kids, they were kicking down doors and they were being told off by people older than them.
I couldn't be happier you said that. I think gatekeeping is a big problem with the whole you need to know this and you need to know that. At the end of the day, what matters is can you make the thing sound good?
Sure.
And if we can make tools where people are spending more time applying their taste rather than trying to figure out how to apply their taste, like that's a good thing for everybody because it's more accessible to express yourself. You know,
Yeah.
that's good.
So we've just loaded a generic Apple vocal loop in here, which you can all access, obviously, well, those of you with Apple. Let's just see what we can do with it.
Wave one shook me like an earthquake,
We'll bring up some of that breath.
reminiscing better days.
I was always told by Dave Jordan and Jack Douglas and everybody else that mentored me that the end of the phrase is the most important part of the phrase. So like, I don't know, and I know. Breathing through it, see if we can bring that out.
Wave one shook me like an earthquake, reminiscing better.
The heat wave. See if we can get some of that.
Wave
Yeah, she's kind of breathing through the end of it.
wave one shook me like an earthquake, reminiscing better days. Make those days right now. Heat wave.
I think bringing up the body might help
one
too.
shook me like an earthquake, reminiscing better days. Make those days right now. Heat wave one shook me like an earthquake, reminiscing better days. Make those days right now.
So I like the little clipping.
Wave.
So even though some crunch, see what happens.
One shook me like an earthquake. Reminiscing better days.
So that's a little fuzzy, a little distorted, but in the track, if it was dense, that would just add edge to it and help it cut.
Yeah.
It's pretty surprising when you listen to some of the most classic vocals of all time, just how on the edge they were with tube mics, you know, mic pre's hitting it hard, lots of compression. I always find it funny when I'm being told, back in the olden days, we never compressed. I'm like, really? Are you kidding me? I've made records with, you know, Shelley and Jack and all these incredible guys that made records in the 60s and 70s. So they used 10 times more compression than I've ever used. Yeah, they loved it. And then obviously hitting tape as well. And quadruple sets of transformers coming in, going through all those transformers coming back out. There's always a bit of rounding off. So this is nice.
Heat wave.
We've been playing also with like
Shook me
smashing the
like an
vocals into crunch to give them that kind of like just fuzzed out.
And then
Heat wave. One shook me like an earthquake.
exactly.
yeah.
Reminiscing better days. Make those days right now. Heat wave. One shook me like an earthquake. Reminiscing better days. Make those days right now. Heat wave.
Wow, it's really screaming on the back.
Shook me like an earthquake. Reminiscing better days. Make those days right now. Heat wave. One shook me like an earthquake. Reminiscing better days. Make those days right now. Heat wave. One shook me like an earthquake. Reminiscing better days. Make those days right now.
Yeah, it keeps it really, really even.
Wave.
Yeah, a lot of control.
Shook me like an
Just kind of a lot of flavor
earthquake.
too. I mean,
Yeah.
like you turn a few knobs and that whole vocal samples it's in a whole new lane.
Yeah, my vocal, I'll have a clean vocal, very compressed, brightening it to no end while also de-essing it multiple times. So it's just kind of a halo of air around it. I'll have saturation, all kinds of stuff. Yeah, I love doing all these things to give it character. So these lovely fellows, Stan over there is sitting over there. Say hi, Stan.
Hey, what's up?
Are going to give us 3 copies to give away. So click a link down below to win 1 of 3 copies. You also did this at the show as well, so thank you very much.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we're just trying to spread the word. Like, feels a great plugin, but we need more people to use it and tell us, what are you using it on? You know, let us know.
There you go. Well, obviously, you can enter to win 1 of 3 copies. There'll also be a link to the website down below. Of course, don't have to take our word for it. Why don't you go and download it for free for 10 days and try it out yourself? As they say, back where I come from, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. So try it out for yourself and see how you get on. Thank you ever so much.
Of course, thank you.
Thanks, everyone. So long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, au revoir, adios, ciao, goodbye, cheers.